You know, technology is just blowing my mind. The tools that I have now for video production were unheard of 20 years ago. Even 10 years ago, they were fairly brand new, and a lot of the things I've got now that younger people take for granted, but us old timers, we see this stuff as almost magical. I've got a drone. A drone is a camera that I can put in the sky and control from my iPhone and see exactly what the drone is seeing at the same time and be able to adjust it to see where I'm at and see what I want to see. Blows my mind. High definition video on the drone. I've also got this device that I'm holding right now, and what it is it's a handheld gimbal that allows me, pretty much like a Steadicam, but I can draw a square around my face, and then if I move my face, I'm not moving the camera's following me. The technology blows my mind. Well, I was playing with something the other day. Actually, I got it out and I thought, you know, I'm going to try this. You know, I think, what can we do with some of this new inexpensive technology that will enable me to come up with some new ideas for video production that, you know, maybe weren't even possible a few years ago. So I thought, now wouldn't it be kind of cool if I could have two cameras? You know, cameras are so portable right now. I mean, an iPhone camera is fantastic. The quality of an iPhone camera is just phenomenal. Well, I've got two iPhones. I've got my older iPhone 4, which the camera isn't quite as good as my iPhone 6, and pretty soon I'm going to upgrade to either an iPhone 10 or maybe an iPhone 11. They're pretty expensive. But the cameras in this tiny little lightweight package enable me to get video footage that most people couldn't have gotten before. And partly because it's always with me. I've always got it available. And if I'm at a job site and I'm up in a tree, I can pull my camera out and I can talk to the camera and get a little bit of video and, you know, add it to it and build some productions. Well, I came up with this idea of what would it be like if I was able to hook up my iPhone to the portable device. It's called an Osmo Mobile. And it's a Steadicam. As you can see, I'm walking right now, and it stays relatively still. You know, it doesn't jerk around. It's pretty amazing, actually. Well, I thought, what would happen if I hooked up two cameras, one pointing forward and one pointing backward, and got it to work on the Steadicam? So what I want to show you is this little test. I mean, this isn't about tree work. You know, I do take a little walk in the forest, but, you know, it was this idea that came across that I thought, what could I do with this? All right, this is a test of hooking up two cameras at the same time. I'm going to be able to go for a walk in the woods and sync them both up. And there's so much you can learn by taking a walk in the woods. So much noise, so much other stuff going on. Oh, there goes a chipmunk. Wow. That's a fresh break. Where'd it go? That's kind of frightening, actually. That tree is leaning more than it was. Those trees over there are leaning considerably more than they were. Wow. I heard a huge branch or tree break out in the woods the other day. And it was a massive big crash. I can only guess where it came from. I think it was one of these dead tan oaks. guy's about ready to fall. This one right here. I hope this turns out as interesting as I think it might. You know, when you go for a walk out in the forest, there are always imminent hazards. There's trees that are ready to break, things that are ready to fall down. There's things in the ground. There's wildlife. You can encounter a rattlesnake. You can even encounter a mountain lion. How dangerous is that? I don't know. How dangerous is a rattlesnake? Well, they're not dangerous at all unless you aggravate them. But what about those sudden branches that just fall out of nowhere? Or the tree that falls down? You're more than likely to hurt yourself through something more simple, like twisting your ankle and not being able to get out. Or slipping and falling and breaking your leg. So there's a lot of things that can get you out in the woods. But you know what? They can get you in the city too. The difference is, when you're in an environment where you've got people to rescue you, you're going to get out of it, get away with it. You're going to get out of the situation. And there's another tool that I've recently purchased that I've not used enough. I'm going to have to start experimenting with it. It's called a Wirel. And what it is it's a cable that you set between, say, two trees or from the ground or to the top of a tree. And you set up this device that wraps on the cable. You mount your camera on it. And with the remote control, you can have it slide along the cable, very much like they do at sporting events where they have this flying camera. And it's fairly inexpensive. Well, recently I saw this group of people that I think they work with Wirel, but they were trying to produce a video that shows some of the possibilities. And there's a scene that's been shown in movies where the camera flies through an open window of a car and flies all the way by and rotates with the gimbal to show the people in the car and then flies out another window on the other side. Well, these guys said, wouldn't it be cool if we could figure out a way to set it up where the car was moving and the camera would fly through the windows and go through the other side? And I thought, how are they going to do that? The video is pretty amazing. And what they did was they took a 25-foot aluminum pole, and with suction cups, they mounted it to the top of their car. And they set it up so that the wire would go all the way through the car, but was attached to the pole. And then they drove slowly in an area where the pole wouldn't encounter anything. And they were able to film with the camera going through the window, rotate to see the characters in the car, fly out the other window, and keep going, showing what's going on, all while the car was moving. Now, this kind of thing couldn't have even possibly been dreamed of 20 years ago. But now, with all this little tiny technology, these new tools, these new gadgets, and they're fairly inexpensive. I think I paid about $300 for the Wirel. So I'm going to try and be creative on more of my videos. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. Please click the like button if you like it. It helps in the algorithms, and please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. If there's anything that you do that you find really interesting in video editing or production, or some of the experiments that you've done with your little cameras, tell me what they're all about. GoPro. I don't have a GoPro. I need a GoPro.